Hey, welcome back. We're back with another video. Today, we're back to the same. Hey, look, I'm gonna start it off. I'm gonna make y'all mad right at the beginning. The man, racist Andrew Wilson, and his liberal views. Listen, this is how you know he's racist. He's arguing with a feminist about the Confederate flag and the rainbow flag. He's a racist, dude. I'm gonna like, cause I know y'all fans of him will reach back to him, right? And this is how we got a hold of a lot of people back in the day. So I want y'all to reach out to this dude as much as possible, so me and him can have a debate. I want to debate this dude. I want to debate him on what he said about the southern border. We should put troops at the southern border to shoot people coming from the southern border. Everybody who said that wasn't racist, I want to know how it wasn't. He didn't say that about the Canadian border. Are we going to put troops at the Canadian border too? Or are we just going to put them at the southern border where there are brown people coming through? Hey, let's go though, y'all. Hey, listen, I'm on the feminist side. I don't even know the argument. I'm already on her side. I already know he's stupid. The problem with men is that when men talk to women, they don't listen long enough to hear their points. Every feminist that's debated him so far hasn't made a dumb point. He just bogarts them in the conversation, making y'all mad at the beginning. But let's go. Let's hop right into the video. I don't even care. Let's hop right in. Oh yeah, I'm at war now. I'm at war. I'm at war with these freaks.
If you had government programs which
promoted
the nuclear family or the cross-generational family at a propaganda level, national level, like we would do with patriotism during the war, things like that, do you think that we would have more or less as it came to traditional family units? More or less?
More or less family units if we put out propaganda? Well, I mean, it depends on how effective the propaganda is, but sure. I mean, we probably would have more traditional family units.
Right. So then, if you do a promotion for alternative family units, that would erode that, right?
Or alternative? You mean...
Well, necessarily, if it's going to increase the amount of traditional family units, if there's national propaganda to move
I
towards
didn't say
that.
necessarily. I said likely, but...
Okay, but even likely, then it would be likely the other way around.
Sure, it would be likely the other way around, that if we put out propaganda for something that people would latch onto it, as people do.
Sure. And do you agree with me that alternative family units is the propaganda which is now produced mostly out of leftist institutions, out of feminist institutions, and out of feminist propositions to government?
Yeah, and before she goes, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with talking about alternative family units. There's nothing wrong with talking about that, because everything doesn't have to be traditional. It doesn't have to be traditional. I don't care how much you guys want to be conservative towards how the past was. There's nothing wrong with moving away from the whole idea of a nuclear family. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, as long as everybody understands that how we take care of the children, how we take care of the household responsibilities is all determined amongst us as an individual, as individuals, and we get along better. And I think really right now, men just don't like the idea that they have to get along with women. They have to see women as their equals. Y'all hate that. Y'all don't want to look at women as your equals. They are your equals. They are just as superior in certain areas in society as men are. Straightforward.
Remember, we're talking about my version of feminism, not
Your version. Your
Right.
version does that, right?
Have I given you much of, like, I don't think I've told you much about my version of feminism.
I think you have.
That's...
Your movement. So you just got done saying that you would propagate or you would support the government itself pushing propaganda for alternative family units, right?
But that's not, no, I didn't say that.
You
I
wouldn't?
can watch this back, but what do you mean by that?
Like at the national level, the government doing things like putting LGBTQ flags all over the White House, maybe putting the White House in an LGBTQ flag, perhaps having NGOs, non-government organizations, which are left-wing think tanks, working hand-in-hand with government to push alternative family units, which are staunchly feminist and psychological institutions, things like that.
Okay, so, I mean, we can bring up psychology, but I'm not sure what that have to do with that. But, look, so we can say, you know, these are fine, these things are maybe working towards normalizing those types of family units. Calling them propaganda seems like a loaded way to say that, and that's fine. If you want to use loaded terms like that, you can. That's...
Well, we can unload it. I agree with you. Propaganda has a negative connotation. I just don't know a better way to...
How do you know when it's time to end a relationship or when to really fight for it to see if there's something there?
I don't think...
Just say it that people understand.
So you... Okay, well, you think that the normalization or the attempt to, you know, normalize something is necessarily propaganda, or you think there's a difference there.
No, I just said I think propaganda has a negative connotation, like definitionally a negative connotation. But when I say the word propaganda, I think most people understand what I mean by that word, meaning there's a national campaign towards X.
A national okay, I mean, if all you're saying by a national campaign towards X is that people want people to be accepted as being gay, or people want to be seen as normal for having a gay family where they have, you know, two parents of the same sex and children that live in that household.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what his point is. What's wrong with there being a push forward for people to have more understanding for other ideas? Why does it always have to be traditional? I don't understand his point. Is his point that he wants it only to be about white males? I know we're talking about, I know we're specifically talking about homosexuality, but I want to add that in because that's what it always comes down to. It's like, no, sorry, you guys got to share. Sucks, but you guys got to share. I like this. I like this. I like this guy. I would love to. You guys reach out to him. His audience should reach out to him and like he should try to come and destroy me in a debate. I would love that. I would love that conversation.
If that's what you mean, then sure, I'm fine with the United States doing things like putting flags on their building, but not for that purpose. The reason that I'm fine with that, you know, something like putting a pride flag up during Pride Month, is because that's a representation of civil rights. Actually, I spoke, by the way, a little plug for my YouTube channel. I spoke at the Florida Senate about a month ago about this. It's an infringement on constitutional rights to not allow government entities to do that. Historically, the Supreme Court has ruled that way, by the way.
Mm-hmm. That's facts.
That is a promotion of the civil rights of those people, not a promotion of their lifestyle. Now, while it might also
Wait, hang on, back up for me real quick. Did you just say that it's unconstitutional to govern for states to govern what now? Flags? Back that up. I just want to make sure I get this right.
Okay, stupid. She said it's unconstitutional for them to say that a flag can't go up on this building. It absolutely can. It absolutely can.
Right, yeah, it's so in the instances, and this is just a descriptor of historically how it's been, the Supreme Court has ruled it unconstitutional to regulate the types of speech that government entities can employ.
Government entities being...
Do you know what a government entity is?
I'm just asking you so
No,
that I
I'm just
understand.
curious, like, I just didn't know if you genuinely didn't know that.
You do realize that you could have proprietary definitions of things that may not,
But
yeah.
I think it would be charitable to assume, you know, that we're kind of using similar terms.
Well,
That's fine.
Well,
I think government
do you mean state government? Do you mean federal government? Do you mean local government?
Historically, both. The Supreme Court.
Right. So when you say government entities, I'm just trying to untangle it. That's it.
Sure, I mean, okay, sure, yeah. Government entities historically, both on the federal level and the state level.
Okay, so like the Confederate flag.
I hate this dude. Like, okay, listen. There's a huge difference between the pride flag and the Confederate flag. I hope everybody is smart enough to understand that. Now, when the conversation came up about taking the Confederate flag down, why did it come up? Before he even goes on this tangent, why did it come up? Now, what she just said, he's gonna try to contradict her. What she just said, yes, that means that they can't take the Confederate flag down on buildings, which I was against too. Let them keep the Confederate flag up so we can see who's racist. But here, but at the same time though, look, the Confederate flag, we fought a war. I don't understand this. We fought a war against those people. Those people were traitors to the U.S., right? You're gonna wear a treason flag on the building? So if that's okay, from his point, we could put a Chinese flag on the building. Why not? A Russian flag on certain buildings. Why not? Like, we can go all day with this stupid analogy that he's about to make. The point is, the pride flag can stand up all it wants to. Unless you hate gay people, you shouldn't have a problem with that. So anybody in the comments that's gonna comment on this, you hate gay people.
Historically, the Supreme Court has ruled it unconstitutional for that to be infringed upon.
Okay.
Now, the issue there can be a different argument against maybe why we shouldn't allow them to do it. Maybe it's not because it's unconstitutional, but maybe there's some other reason why we should infringe on their free speech.
Do you think we should?
On
The Confederate flag.
that would be a conversation about, you know, what's the use.
No, I don't. I think the Confederate flag should be able to fly up on every building. I'm gonna speak for her. I think the Confederate flag should be able to fly up on every building that wants to fly it. And black people, hear me on this. Even though none of y'all comment to defend me. Hey, Hear me on this. Let them put their flags up. Let them segregate everything so we know who to not shop in. I cannot wait to know where my money doesn't belong. I don't go into Target at all anymore. When my girl comes here, we don't touch Target. We don't touch Target. Nope, Target's out the question. Nope, I don't care what she wants from Target. She ain't going in Target, I ain't going in Target. Until they put up until they retract on everything that they said during the whole DEI thing. They literally told us that they don't want us in that situation. So, fuck them. Same thing goes for the Confederate flag. Put it up. Put it up. Y'all white people want to tell us y'all racist so bad. Here you go. Get the opportunity. Put it up.
The conversation about whether or not you're consistent in your view that because states can do this, they should be able to do this, or they should do this.
Okay, that's not true. Look, what I was saying was that take the instance of, putting up can I say the word swastika?
I would just say Swazi.
Swazi, yeah. I put up a nice 1942 flag up, on the state building or something like that. And that causes some riot or that causes some violence or something like that. There might be an argument there to say, well, because it's had this specific negative outcome, then we should restrict them from doing that. However, that's not the case with the symbolization of, Pride Month, the gay flags that are put up on buildings. The intention there is to represent the civil rights of those people. That would be like saying you can't put up American flags.
This is a civil rights issue on either end.
That's true.
The Civil War was a civil rights issue?
No, it's a civil rights issue on either end for the flag itself. So you can't say, so if you say, well, this is negative, right, or this is positive, just because one is negative doesn't mean it's not the same civil rights issue that you're pointing at here. So if you're pointing at states historically can't say anything, or government entities can't say anything about what types of flags are put up on but is it state property? Is that what you're referencing?
Right. So government buildings.
Yeah, government buildings. Then it would still be a civil rights issue if you're saying that they shouldn't put up the Confederate flag. That would still be a civil rights problem.
When I asked you, do you think that the Civil War was a civil rights issue, do you think that the Confederate flag represents the civil rights of African Americans?
No.
Okay, right, so that's the symmetry breaker here. And then there's also the
What if you had Jeff Bezos' personal assistant, or Tim Cook's? Imagine, a brilliant strategist would do it.
Well, what do you think a civil right is?
Do you think that the...
Don't ask me a question before you answer my question. What do you think a civil right is?
No. She needs to ask you deeper because I know where she's going with this. See, the only thing about these women is they're just not. The only thing about these women that come on this whatever podcast is they're not fast enough on their toes. They're smarter than him. They're just not fast enough on their toes. Is it a civil rights issue for the Confederate flag? Like, you're trying to compare the Confederate flag to the rainbow flag. She's telling you the connotation behind a rainbow flag going up and a Confederate flag going up. There was hatred, violence, all kind of stuff put behind the Confederate flag. Same thing with the we can't say swastika, what the fuck? But like the same thing with the 1942 flag, Mr. Mustache Man, right? There was hate behind that flag flying. There was a representation behind it that was negative. There is no negative connotation behind the rainbow flag. That's her point. And he's trying so hard to straw man fallacy her, red herring her, all kind of stuff like that. And she's not catching on. This dude is just good at propaganda. But if he came up against somebody like me, wouldn't happen like that. You know what? I'm done with this video. Hey, y'all. That's it. I don't even want to hear no more what you guys say. Peace.